did not know that.
Okay. Let's go over what we already know. Do I pull this out or do I click it? Yeah. Alright. What we already know. Ready? Kenneth. Oh. Torin. How many degrees are in a circle? Keep going, Torin. How many degrees are in a semicircle? 180. Julius, what does a central angle look like? You want to come to the board and draw it?
Can I do it?
But maybe like if you had a picture, you could draw me one.
Can I do an angle that hits this?
Go, Torin, go. You're going to have to do inscribed angles since you didn't do central. On the blue circle, please.
Oh my God.
No. Hey.
You have a knife?
He means
This is so off. Why is this off? Like, I'm
calm down. It'll be okay.
Dude, just go by it.
Yeah, that's right. It's good. Central angle. An angle whose vertex is the center of the circle. Julius, you're up. You want to just do this one instead? What's the measure of a central angle? So Julius, don't say it, Kendall. Julius, that arc is 70. What's the measure of that angle?
35. Right?
oh my.
Central angle. Have you already been eating that cake? You're already on a sugar high. John, what's the measure of central angle? Central angle.
Too many questions.
Oh my God. It's 70.
Too many questions. Who would like to draw me an inscribed angle other than Tori, because you already drew one? Inscribed angle.
I had to draw it.
Yes, go.
Let's go.
Oh my
Come on,
goodness.
Simon.
Simon
You can do
Okay,
it.
it's the opposite.
It's an angle and it's not a central angle. It's the only other one we've studied so far.
Is that like that?
Yes.
Thank you. Very good job.
Good
Wow.
job, Simon. Sit down, Simon. Sit down.
John, what's the measure of an inscribed angle? What's the measure of that angle? That was a central angle. 35.
Hey, Tori.
That's what we already.
We're not genius.
No.
That's what we were supposed to already know. Now let's move on to what we're going to learn today. First period.
Yes. I'm very irritated.
How many angles are on the board?
Anyway,
Today's lesson I called it 7 angles. Because we're going to learn how to solve for all 7 of those angles. Angle 1. Shelby, what's the name of angle 1? Central angle. Lewis C., how do you find the measure of a central angle? How do you find the measure of a central angle?
I couldn't do it all.
What's the measure of angle 1? Good. We just did this. Torrin, stop talking while I'm talking. Central angle equals its arc. Number 2. Kaylee, what's number 2 called? That angle. Yes, inscribed angle. Very good. Alea, what's the measure of an inscribed angle? How do you find it? Divide by 2. What's the measure of angle 2? 40 degrees. Very good. Catherine, what's the vocab word for angle 3? Trick question. Angle 3. I'm not on your notes yet. I'm just overview. Angle 3. There is no vocab word for. But just because it doesn't have a name doesn't mean we can't find it. Where's the vertex of angle 3? Inside, outside, on? On. The vertex is on the circle. What other angle has a vertex on the circle? Inscribed. So guess what? They're going to have the same exact rule. If this arc is 100 degrees, then what's the measure of angle 3?
50.
Same rule as this one. Take the arc, Austin, are you watching? And divide by 2. 50 degrees. All right. The rest of the angles, we haven't learned them yet. Where is the vertex of angle 4? Where? Not middle, because that's central angle. Here's the center. Where's the vertex of angle 4? Inside, outside, on? Inside. We don't know how to find that one yet. This one does not equal its arc. We're about to find out what it equals. Where's the vertex of angle 5? Outside. Angle 6? Outside. Angle 7? Okay, so now let's learn some new theorems. This is on your notes. Inside. The title is inside. If an angle is inside a circle, it is half the sum of its intersected arcs. It is half the sum of its intersected arcs. Sum means add, and half means divide by 2. So we're going to add the arcs and divide by 2. We're going to add the arcs and divide by 2. How do you find angle 1? It's not equal to x. It's equal to the average of arc x and arc y. It's equal to the average of those two arcs. Is that the way? In the box, in the dotted box, this is what you put. Angle 1 equals x plus y divided by 2. You add the arcs and divide by 2. That's called taking an average. What's another word for average? Raise your hand.
Grading.
What? Mean. Mean and average are synonyms, pretty much. All right, you want to find out what you do when the angle is outside? That's inside. You're going to double it, add them, and double it.
The opposite of that.
What's the opposite of adding?
Subtracting.
Oh, look at that. When the angle is outside the circle, you subtract the arcs and divide by 2. X minus y divided by 2. It's okay. Subtract the arcs and divide by 2. Dimitri, you're distracted. Or slash annoying people.
No. Honestly, I don't care if I'm doing anything because they're not going to do anything about it.
I can have you sit in the hall if you are really annoying anyway. So, if the angle is outside the circle, it is half the difference. The only word we changed was the word sum became the word difference. We went from addition to subtraction. All right, these theorems are no good unless we try them out. One more thing I want to say, because I already showed you this picture. That rule that you just wrote down, subtract the arcs and divide by 2, it works for all 3 of those pictures. So the good news is one rule, but you get to use it all 3 times. So you don't have to know 3 different rules. Where's the vertex? Outside, outside, outside. So whether it's 2 secants, a secant and a tangent, or 2 tangents, you still subtract the arcs and divide by 2. I don't know what's so funny. Julius, what's so funny? Example number 1, go. Label your picture. Label your picture. Find angle X. And then you'll be able to find angle Y. Oh, I was wondering why you weren't doing it. Okay. Why you weren't doing this problem with 8 and Make sure you want to work out the problems out here. Well, that's what this is called, a lesson. We're learning how to do them. They don't know how to do them either. They're learning. Arc AB is 46 degrees. Arc DC is 90 degrees. Now, when I add those up and divide by 2, Austin, is that going to give me X or is it going to give me Y? X. Because X is the angle that is, look, if you follow the lines, that angle is opening up to those 2 arcs, you see? So, when we add them up and divide by 2, we're not finding Y, we're finding X. Dimitri, oh, you don't have your calculator. Paige, what do you get when you add 46 plus 90 and divide by 2? What? 91? Did you press enter after you added them? No, you didn't press enter after you added them. 46 plus 90, enter. Divided by 2, enter. 68. I'll tell you why it does that, Brett. 68. X is 68 degrees. Now we have to find y. Lewis M., do you know the vocab word for x and y? Here, let me draw it. Here's x, here's y. What's the vocab word for those two angles? Just what's the vocab word for these two angles? They're not vertical angles. What are they?
Consecutive?
They are supplementary, but that's not the vocab word. Something pair? They're a linear pair. That's not new. That's so old. Maybe you have to dust it off. Maybe we haven't used it in so long. Just blow the dust off of it. Okay, that's a linear pair. We know that if two angles form a linear pair, they are supplementary. So if you know x, you can find y. All you do is subtract from 180. And Ashley, what'd you get? Angle y. How much is angle y?
120.
180 minus 68. We okay with that? Just finding a linear pair, guys. Just finding a linear pair. All right, let's try this one. Uh-oh. Where is the vertex of that angle? Inside, outside, on? Outside. So you better use your rule for a vertex that's outside the circle. Brett, are you ready? Oh, what were those two numbers? 90 and 46. Ready, Brett? Okay. When you enter that into your calculator, what does your calculator do? Order of operations. It does 90 divided by 2, and then it adds it to 46. What did we want your calculator to do? We needed your calculator to do the sum of 46 and 90 and then divide by 2. The 46 gets divided by 2 and the 90 gets divided by 2. When you don't press enter, only the 90 is getting divided by 2. Order of operations. That's why you have to press enter. All right, Megan, what would you put in your calculator?
95 minus 55 divided by 2.
Love it. Subtract your arcs and divide by 2. 95 minus 55, enter. Divided by 2, enter. Nasia, what do you get? Torin, I gave you that to do math. What? 20. So that means angle Z is a 20-degree angle. Subtract the arcs and divide by 2. Easy. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's too easy. Next one. Arc ADC is 250. Major arc or minor arc? Major arc. So you should be labeling the long way around the circle. Say over.
Oh,
ADC. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to subtract my arcs and divide by 2, but I don't have 2 arcs to subtract. Oh, you got it. 360 minus 250. Kendall, you're up. What do you get for this arc? 110. We now have our missing arc. Now we can find our angle, because to find the angle, you subtract the arcs and divide by 2. So Melanie, what'd you get for the angle? 70-degree angle? 70-degree angle. You okay? Found the missing arc, then we could use our new equation. Had to find the missing arc first.
Can we start our worksheet?
We're not done yet. This one's actually a little bit more difficult. Go ahead and try it. Let you think about it for a minute before we go over it. Last example, right? Yeah, last example. Got this, come on. Here's what you're not doing. 110 minus 40 divided by 2. Can't do an arc minus an angle. That's not what the theorem says. That's what you're not doing. Brett, do you think you could set up an equation for me to find Z? Use your equation that we wrote down to find an angle that's outside a circle.
Okay, so n minus x.
Can I call it Z? Because we called it Z.
Yeah.
Okay.
Divided by 2.
And what would that equal?
It would equal 40.
Yeah, there we go. We make my 2 look more 2-ish. Okay. Didn't want it to look like Z. See what we did there? We don't know the arc. The arc is missing this time. Not the angle. The angle's not missing. The arc is missing. So we subtract our arcs and divide by 2, and that will equal that angle. It equals the angle. What's the opposite of dividing by 2? Multiply by 2. Let's get rid of this 2. Multiply by 2. 110 minus Z equals, multiply by 2, 80. I want you to make the Z and the 80 trade places. Move the Z over here. Oh, now it's positive Z. Move the 80 over here. Now it's negative 80. 110 minus 80. 110 minus 80. We have now found our missing arc. You did not just say too many steps. 2 steps. All we did was multiply by 2 and then we subtracted. We were working backwards because we weren't missing an angle, we were missing an arc. So we had to work backwards. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. Okay, it was easy.
I don't know.
All right, we're done. You get to practice now.